Hey guys, yeah, 2 o'clock. Welcome back in as we head downside for the first time in a while. Looks like we might. It's a bounce right now, but we might snap this winning streak that's been underway for the past week or so. You caught a glimpse there of one faring pretty bad today. Warner Brothers getting crushed, down 17%. Just made a new low. I just saw it pop up on Volume Scanner as well. At that low, $9.60 here for WBD. Off their earnings report this morning, forecast not good for Warner Brothers as well. Still trending pretty sharply to the downside. All of the streaming names under pressure as a result, including here's Comcast right in the middle there, CMCSA, 1.6% to the downside. Energy names have been notably weak on the session all day long. 2.6% right now for crude oil, heading into the final 30 minutes of the pit session over in Chicago. Tesla 0.7% to the downside. There are a few standout positive names on the day, including NVIDIA 1.6 to the upside. Microsoft, Oracle here 2.3%. Cisco I saw coming up next week on the earnings board, so we'll hear from them. I think it was Tuesday next week. We'll touch on that obviously. A few individual names. That's Now, ServiceNow, back upside today, 1.4% for Intuit as well. So standout names individually, but pretty mixed overall as far as the overall board for the S&P 500 is concerned. Instacart, 2.7% downside right now going into their earnings coming up after the bell tonight. We'll hear from Cart for the first time since they went public. Not a good IPO, obviously downside in a pretty big way ever since it came to market. Yeah, it was all about Fed Chair Powell this morning. It was all about then a long line of Fed speakers throughout the afternoon. We'll still hear from a couple coming up here this afternoon before we hear from Walt Disney after the close tonight. It's going to be a very busy recap show. Make sure you tune in with Sean. Here we go with the market, though. Back to the upside right now. As I mentioned, that big flush, there was a bit of a bounce. We tried to roll over again, but looks like the market is trying to find a bit of a base here that we might be able to work with. Let's jump into what we were discussing. If you were with us in the pre-market this morning, make sure you join us every single day. At 8:30, we get you set for the session, obviously, but the open specifically at 9:30. This one, let me get rid of this. Rivian was top of the list today, now down 3% after starting the day with a huge gap to the upside after a decent report from Rivian. I mean, they increased their production forecast for the first time, I think, ever. CEO RJ then came out and also said that the second generation platform, the R2 platform, is going to be available for a quote unquote preview as early 24 next year, guys. So good look initially today for Rivian, but pretty good fade overall.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about it is we should have just had you dress up as RJ and maybe rally the troops this morning on Rivian to get to the upside. For anyone that doesn't know this, and again, it was a Halloween costume last year, so it's easy to check out. But legitimately, Brendan does. There is a passing resemblance between the two. It's not something that we just made up. It's something we noticed, and Brendan had a lot of fun with it. So maybe if we had rallied the troops on that stock, it could have pushed it higher. Rivian was, look, it was a smaller loss than expected. They also gave a production increase above the guidance by a couple thousand vehicles, and it still didn't matter. It gapped up. It was falling like a hot knife through butter. Looked at a few levels for some dip buys. I think a lot of them were obvious, like the 17.5 level, 17 even. That's where I gave it up. I took 3 shots at 2 levels on the stock, and there was never really any bounce to get some juice off of for myself, risk to reward. And we left the morning show, and I know I said I like this, and I didn't take it, so it doesn't really matter what you say. 17.30 on the way back up, and it ends up making this reversal. So I didn't play that. I'm now short off the 17 for the second time on that lower high, just sort of getting to the trend a little bit too late. And by a little bit too late, I mean like a lot too late. But Rivian down 3%. They are not alone. We don't have any of the other ones out there, but I mean, Lucid was already down. Polestar was already down. Fisker was already down on earnings. All 3 Chinese EV names were all negative on, well, not on earnings, but pressure on the EV space continues. I don't know where the bottom comes in here, but at some point, these someone's going to survive. And they're all turning into interesting spec plays that the prices are getting into. But I'm finally short Rivian off of 17. It took way too long. But it's giving you a couple of legs here, like 16.9s into 16.7. That's what I'm currently sitting in, looking for the 16.7. That is the missed short right there.
Oh, wow. Uber went back up to 50.20. Okay, yeah, so Rivian. We just got stopped. So we just got stopped out at Tesla. That was the one thing there. We were playing off that level. Well, actually, we were playing off 221. That level right there is actually a little bit better, 221.31. Either way, we're still up there. We got stopped out. No point holding it 30 more cents. So that's going to be a fail there. And then Rivian, yeah. I mean, couple good trades, and then eventually it dumped out. But we were wrong. We thought today when Rivian opened up 5 or 6% that it was going to be a nice up day for them. Market flat, Rivian just doing this dance right here. So again, not much happening here on Rivian. Yeah, nice downside move. That bid, I guess, at 16.30. We'll see if it gets back down there. I think that's where we want to start to buy a little bit of Rivian. I'm trying to get longer on a few things, so hopefully something will pop in at some point. Here we didn't get stopped out, but we just got more shares here on Google, but that's right near the top right now. So huge move. Like, look where we were just getting out on Google, right there, off of this short. So, huge move upside right now as the market goes green. So definitely some rally mode here in today. We got to get our stops set up. Google, we're going to get out if it breaks 80. That's the high of the day. We're pretty close to that. So a lot of retracements back upside right now. Very, very interesting move as we turn green. I mean, the market right here just straight up barcoded, then a nice move. So yeah, Rivian fooled us a little bit. We'll wait to see where we go from here, but I'm just looking at other positions.
Back upside right now, actually, for Amazon, once again. Been very strong over the past couple of days. We did get finally a little bit of selling coming into this. I mean, there was a few interesting notes this morning. That was one of them. They're finally rolling out this $9 a month or $99 a year healthcare for Prime members specifically. There was also a little more detail on what they're going to do with their AI.
Yeah, they're launch their new AI. Not that they didn't have one before, but they're launching a newer one that's supposed to compete with ChatGPT-4 and actually allow it to about take 2 trillion threads. ChatGPT-4 is, I believe, 1 trillion. It's one of the measures by which you judge an LLM, a large language model. So we'll have to see how it does. Action-wise, though, down 0.25%, really hasn't caught traction.
Don't look now. The market just went positive.
Ooh.
Markets went positive today. Today? Just now. Today's the wrong way to say it. The ES 0.02% to the upside. The NASDAQ 0.03% to the upside.
Let's go.
So the winning streak could, I don't want to jinx anything, but obviously it could continue. You have a long way to go. We got 2 hours to go here. I don't want to celebrate. I was about to say, yeah, the winning streak, blah, blah, all that good stuff is going to continue. But Amazon, I didn't trade Amazon. Today, I was really, once you started pulling back in, I was honed in a little bit closer to the 140 level. Didn't really get down. The market looked pretty darn weak, and I thought, hey, if you're going to step into a bid, the morning taught me to really wait for it. But now that you're potentially breaking back out, 142.5, kind of that opening range, like this top in here at about 10 o'clock in the afternoon bottom yesterday. If it gets back above that and starts trending up or continues trending up, I think that's worthy of a long there for Amazon. Strong move in the market. This has yet to get green. There's been a few other big cap tech names that have not fared as well. If we're talking about Amazon, might be a good place to throw Microsoft in there, just AI related. It's off those highs. As long as we're not easy to hold on to, I don't know if that's a good enough reason to have gotten out of Microsoft. I played it off VWAP. This did the hold above VWAP and consolidation that I was looking for. So it dipped off VWAP. I got in 62s. I got out when it failed at 63. And that was maybe a mistake. It's easy to call it a mistake, but I would have stopped out here anyways, underneath VWAP on Microsoft. And then really I just should have got back into it. So I'm in Fisker. I was never short Fisker. The position board had that wrong. I've been long it since that breakout this morning, and I just added off of VWAP. But I'm long in Roblox, which is a reversal from the short that we had, and we'll get to that. But Microsoft, I want to be long the stock. It's just I missed that reload off of VWAP. Now I think I look back to 362.5 here. If we're going to hold green on the day, Microsoft has room to get to that 52-week high, which sits about $3 from today's high. It got close enough. The other thing which I found really interesting about Microsoft, someone put it in the chat, that there's actually, we're not that far away from Microsoft and Apple crisscrossing on market cap. I don't know the significance of that. It's more just like a fun, interesting fact than anything else. Oh no, Roblox just came out. Ooh.
Yeah. It's funny that we're still in that same upstart position as we talk. Okay, so Amazon, as we talk a little bit about Amazon. Okay, so Amazon, we were trading in a lot early, longs flipped out at the end when it dumped out there, still fine. And then just now, we tried to get back short against that high right there. Not back short, into a new short. Because I thought the market was going to fail there at view up, but now that it didn't, I'm actually trying to flip over longs. I'm now looking for longs. So I can go over some of those ideas in a minute, but that was Amazon. I still like what it's doing here today. It's only down 0.31. I feel like the move that it's had has been an absolutely epic proportion. I talked about how impressed I have been with this move on Amazon, so that's why initially we wanted to go long, but then it was pretty weak. But look at that good bottom, 141, so we'll probably have to see if that can come back into play, which is why we were shorting, but it did take out the high, and I just don't want to stand in front of this freight train. I like this play here. We're not going to talk about Palantir, but I like a Palantir break of 50. So if that happens, you're going to see my account get lit up with some Palantir longs. And then I also like Intel long. Well, Intel's not working now. I thought that it could break this high. So Intel, it's too bad because I should have stuck with the short buy. Whoa. Should have stuck with the short bias there because I was like, okay, Intel, got to go short. Then the market did this, and I was like, okay, Intel, got to go long, and was waiting for 38.20. So I'm actually going to cancel that now and just say that's a fail by me. So I'm going to flap a fail on that one because I was looking to go short Intel, but unfortunately when the market broke up and I saw Tesla break higher, we're still into Micron, so all good on that one. All right, there's Palantir now going higher. We're long at 50 and you can't see it, but it's a half print, 50 and a half right now long on PLTR. Target out, 45s. Easy. Let's see if that can hold. Palantir, please just go up.
I'm actually surprised by that. We were just talking about Roblox. I mean, the move was pre-market, I guess, but it's done very well to hang out where it is right now, even with the day that we're setting up to potentially have here. Still 13% across the board. Pretty good Q3 numbers today for Roblox.
Yeah, the story here, Brendo, is strong year-over-year growth for daily active users, hours engaged, revenue, and bookings. There's still no profit. They're still turning a loss, $277 million they lost on the quarter, but revenue's up big, 38% year-over-year on the quarter. So they're growing. Their daily active users also up 20% year-over-year on the quarter. And listen to this, hours engaged by users, 16 billion hours on the quarter, which is up 20% year-over-year on the quarter. It's an interesting look.
Man, what is that in days, I wonder?
Oh, no.
That's a lot of video games, wow.
So like it's a fun number. Actually thinking about like how much time when people are getting. Oh, sorry, I muted myself to sneeze. That's my bad. The allergies have come back. It's a fun number to say all those billions of hours watched. But let's be real for a second. When you have the millions and millions of people playing games and the amount of hours that the average person puts into it when they're young, suddenly you realize how fast it adds up. So I get it. Like, it sounds impressive. I don't know in any context what that is. I think it was a mistake. I reversed long in Roblox. We were short the 42 level, double top this morning. I didn't want to chase Roblox. We talked about this. I didn't want to chase it to the upside. If you took the breakout at 42, that was probably the exact moment to have gone short. There was a good dip buy if you took it here in the 40 level. That's the reason why I flipped, let's be real. But I got short when it retested the 42 and failed, played the VWAP. It rolled over at VWAP. I got out at 40. When it did this over under at 40, I started going long. I was long, I was out. But then, like, once this starts happening, long, lower, it's like, nah. Like, if I'm constantly doing this, like, that's still a downward trend that we were in the downward trend before. And if I like the short off of 42, why am I suddenly fighting the trend going long? So it happened, and we gave a little bit back on Roblox. I'd be a little bit wary of the fact that this is falling back in as the market is breaking out and trying to go green. Like, if the market doesn't hold green, this could easily start filling in the gap to the downside. So I'm out of the long. I'm not really looking for the long anymore on Roblox. Unless it breaks, maybe it breaks VWAP or something, and then I could get interested in it. But I think there's maybe other places to go here. given the fact that it's sat out a lot of this bounce in the market.
All right, guys, couldn't be happier right now with Palantir. Let's go. It's trying to get up to the upside right now as it is starting to get going. And then look at this one again. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
We got to take it out, man. Micron just fell right back in. That's another one for us. Look at these shorts on Micron. Shout out to my good friend Brian Shannon as we keep on talking about VWAP trading. There it is right there. Boom. To the downside, to the downside. Let's go. So good trading there on those names. Upstart, whatever. That's still an upstart dollar in the money. I was thinking, you know, my kids definitely contributing to this Roblox number. What time is it? They're not home from school yet, but they'd probably be playing it if they were. Look, good move today. I talked about that trade with Neil up there at 42, how much we like that. I missed it, but good move all the way back in. It's probably up too much. But what a great, you know, moment in time for Roblox. Like, great earnings report and a great move off that bottom. So if you're in Roblox, good for you. It's been a nice one. I'm also long Roblox. But right now, nice move up here for Palantir. I'm going to take some more off here at 55 and see where we go. But Micron, Upstart, Palantir. Oh, we'll talk about Upstart in a minute. So let's go back over to the desk, and then we'll break down that trading on Upstart.
Yeah, good tee up. Back to the upside right now. I mean, it's been kind of flat. The move, once again, happening after hours yesterday, where we saw a couple of others this morning. But yeah, not good here for Upstart. Back to the downside. There's something else I was going to mention. You discuss that, and I'll find it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit about how Upstart's doing. Look, it's still up about 122.5% on the year. However, it's down 60% off its highs in August. So the local trend is to the downside. They're losing money, about $3.9 million loss. Revenue came in at about $135 million. The real story is here, though, that transaction volume is down 34% year over year on the quarter. Transaction volume refers to how many loans they're giving out. They gave about 114,000 of these loans, and even the prime borrowers are starting to borrow less. So it's not about them excluding people with bad credit. It's just less demand in general.
I remembered. I did the math. So what was it? 16 billion hours is 666,666 days total.
Damn.
Seems like a lot of sixes.
That is a lot of six. Anytime someone does, like when you do like that raw math and it ends up in something weird like that, I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
It's somebody, like someone pulling our leg there, like, I don't know. It's a little weird. That's an interesting tidbit. I don't know what to make of that. Maybe that's a little bit scary, but yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. Let's get to Upstart for a second. That is very weird. Upstart down a bajillion % today. There is your gap fill to the downside. For anyone that asks questions about what an SSR bounce is, when a stock is down 10%, for that day from the previous close, it is short sell restricted. You cannot remove liquidity from the bid to enter a short position unless the last print is an upprint, an uptick. So it's called the uptick rule. So that goes into effect, makes it harder for a stock to be pushed down by short sellers once it's down 10%. That goes into play that day and the next day. So today, this was obviously going to open up down 10%, so it was SSR from the get-go. And a lot of times, the first thing I look for is going to be an SSR bounce. At the even dollar was 21 even. That also happened to be the pre-market low. The way I like to play it, it's hard to see this candle, but at the open, the high is 21.90, and it broke 21 and got to 21.70. So it bounced to like actually 72. It got back above. I was long literally 0.1s on the way back. Scalp some out at 35, which is 1-to-1 from the low, and then hold for the top, which was 2090. I got out right in front of 2090, in and out of the trade and done with it. I did say if it broke down and to give you the same trade at lunch money, I would do it, but it never did. So it got pretty darn close to 21 without actually hitting it, but that's a very, very quick trade for that SSR bounce. Sometimes it happens at that even dollar, other times it doesn't do anything. But today, Upstart, it just couldn't really take out that low. And it's even still holding on to the bottom. So sometimes a bad name just doesn't have to sell off, more and more and more. And oftentimes, all the selling has been done. And the short float on this is pretty significant as well, which does help.
So stay tuned. In another 20 minutes, you'll have Randy coming to talk about some EVs. So that should be fun. Get ready for that. Some Randy talk in a couple minutes, 20 minutes or so about EVs. Look, man, we're still here with Upstart. We put it on, again, this is going to be probably the trade for all day. We put this on in the pre-market, came in right there, fell down to 21 bucks. We want to support that level, so we're still in it right now at 21. So there it is. There's the long. 21 bucks. There's the out, 22.40 right there. So that was, about $1.50. That's the high of the day. So we actually have both those prints, the low of the day and the high of the day. And I said to myself, I was really surprised, and I said it to you guys actually, not myself, that it's really just done this. I thought, with a little bit of a bigger net to cast there, down 25%, we would have had a little bit more movement there. We could have got longer at 21. I was going to wait for a dip buy, and honestly, I'm not even trying to add this. So I was hoping that the market would blast and we'd be able to get again the high of the day. But Upstart, still one of the best stocks here today. We're still on it, and despite this, one trade, right? Like basically one trade idea, and then you go and you're done. So that would be, a good trading strategy for anybody that's looking for a couple different ideas. We have them on here, including Uber, including a couple other names that we will get to right now. Palantir's still trying to go, man. It's not really working out right now. Well, it's working out, but it's, here's Palantir here. Hold on a second. Again, we take the position. It's just we're getting some out. We just keep getting out at 55s. Like there's really nothing else. My best out is 57, I believe. We got that up to there at some point. No, every single out is 55 or 54 so far on this. We got 50 half. Let's see if it gets going. My next offer is at 59, and then hopefully Palantir will continue back to the upside. New position alert. And just by putting this on, it's already rifled up the board of profitable names, despite it only going 5 cents. So let's go Palantir and see if we can get this one going back upside. China EV time.
Yeah, it's been, they tried. Anyways, they're not there yet, but they're trying to get back to the upside. Downside across the board for all of these, that's NIO. Li Auto I saw was a little bit better off as far as the move today. But we got this data from the China Passenger Car Association this morning. They sold a ton of cars, and it was impressive how EVs continue to creep up as far as the percentage of the total number.
Yeah, it's a lot more than what we're doing here, Brendo. They sold about 2 million cars in China in October. About 37.5% of those 2 million cars are EVs. We're not even close to that. We're still in single digits on this side of the ocean. So a lot of catching up to do. They've been building their infrastructure there with respect to battery plants, et cetera, for decades now. Li Auto reports tomorrow morning. I'm invested in that stock. I'm going to be looking for how they do with respect to earnings, obviously, and deliveries. We know last time around, deliveries were absolutely through the roof. But caveat here, the comparator, the comp, is last year when we had the zero COVID policy, so everything looks really good. Check out Li Auto tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're essentially right at that last gap to the upside as well for Li right now. Trying to test the highs as we speak here, guys, for LI.
We were just talking about it because all the positions are wrong. Like I'm short Micron, I'm long Palantir, so I only have 3 positions right now. Short Micron. We'll just go over this quickly. Fabian is over there restarting it. I'm short Micron and covering down there. Wait till he restarts it. And then I'm long Palantir. We just got a 57 fill, so that was good. And then I'm long Upstart. I'm in absolutely nothing else. Okay, look, so as far as EVs are concerned, I didn't look at any Chinese EVs today, but the one that I really just trade, the one that I only trade pretty much, I think we've done really well on Li Auto before and XPeng, but I don't look at those. I prefer if there's ever Chinese news, I kind of go to BABA just naturally. I don't know why. But again, fading off of $8. That's the trade. You hadn't really had to been worry about that if you've been short there. Didn't really go against you ever at all. Actually, it went to what, 8? No, not even. I don't even know if it broke 8 there. I don't know. But anyways, that $8 goes over a couple days. I still like that. I think if you break it, then you get that long going through. I'd rather play the long now than the short. But like this is why I hit Palantir with more shares than I normally would, because we could have action like this the rest of the afternoon. So, you know, stay patient with all of these trades. So for me, NEO's a long breaking 8 just because of where the market is, and I think the market ends the day green. So that's my position, or my opinion on NIO, and I didn't look at the other ones.
Yeah, well, like, okay, just to go over, I'll acknowledge one thing on Li Auto.
Yep.
Remember we had talked about the, I guess we'll take a position, and then, oh, he just filled in.
Yeah, he just filled it up there.
Wait a minute, that's still, okay, I'm long Fisker at 407, so and I'm not in Intel. There's something going on. You might come here in a second when I'm done, and I'll tell you what I think you need to do, Fabian. Li Auto, for all of the flat bottom break and stair step down that we had talked about, this has not only bounced off the 200 period, broken back out the 50 period above 36, it's actually above that flat bottom break at 38 that we admit, like we had talked about this flat bottom break for like at least a month and a half or something, and it's back above $38. And I look at it today, and I didn't really, it's the only level I would have traded off, so there's no chance that I would have had this dip by unless it had come to 38. But I do want to put this on my own personal, like on the radar, that maybe that 38 comes back in and we can start trading off of that level. It was so good for so long, and 36 was so good for so long. Why not just look at those two levels? Li Auto at 38. If it breaks 38, look at it for the 36 level, and then just go from there. And again, you know, I don't know if it moves this afternoon. It probably doesn't move this afternoon. There's nothing to really do about it at that point. But it's a tremendous recovery, at least for this name. I don't know. You can't really say the same thing for NEO, because NEO's daily chart is, it's not the opposite, but I mean it's pretty darn close to the opposite. Getting off these lows. If this cannot get above 8 on this bounce, it's just lower highs. At some point, you're getting to this 52-week bottom at $7 even. It's just a matter of when. It's inevitable. Obviously, if it never breaks $8, it has to get to 7. It's going to get to 7 to that downside, but lower highs all the way through on NIO. It's just been an absolute dog. So the next fill I get, this should update. I was trying to get Rivian on a reload here in front of 17, but I actually thought I had a bid. I'm going to get on the bid in front of 70, try and rinse and repeat this. Even if I didn't get there, then I want to get some out in front of 70 on RIVN. The EV still taking it on the proverbial chin.
All right, they're still, be patient with these guys. They are trying to get it going.
It's now right for me.
Yeah, it's been right for me for a while, so it's okay. Well, since you did the last refresh. Yeah, we're fine now. Okay, good. Look, it looks like we're good to go right now. All right, again, Palantir still doing nothing. WEWKQ. Yeah, if you slept on WeWork today, it went up to 150. So we brought this to you earlier on in the day when this went over to the pink sheets. We talked about it. We talked about it yesterday with Jeff. Came in today, and it just went up 100%. That's all. So from 70 cents there on the open, roughly, you could have got even better than that at 61 cents, all the way to 150 right now. So it's still not tradable for us here. Hopefully, if it closes above $1, but I just wanted to show you the level 2 anyways. It's still a spread, and I don't know if it's going to be tradable or not. Like some of these prints here, 98, 99, 90, then right to 96, then to 95, you know, then to $1, 101, 95 again, right? 102, 102. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be tradable for us here. Eventually, if it is, great. But for right now, it's not. So we are unable to trade it.
I was going to ask. Oh, never mind.
And then Palantir right now, trying to go back up. And then we're getting very, very, we've already taken this out. So we have a very, very small piece left of Micron as well. Going to find more opportunities. That's the job. We're going to try to do that right now for everybody. So here's Uber. Do we have to, let me know if we have to go back to the desk. We can go back there whenever. What just happened to my chart? All right, let's go back to the desk and I'll figure out where my chart went.
As always, the rundown brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Make sure you take advantage. Trader TV 20 right now, 20% off, including this, their test drive, 2 weeks for $11. You get 20% off that even. You get access to this, their brand new shiny web app version as well. You get charting. Really nifty features in this, including 2 different time frames. You can swap between the 2 of them very easily. You get news, you get data, you get everything you need, as always, over at Trade Ideas.
Shout out to Trade Ideas there. So yeah, I am long Fisker. Just quickly go over this. I was gonna It doesn't really matter. I'll go to Lucid as well. I was going to mention this when we were talking about EVs, and I just kind of slipped my mind. But Fisker, it's weird, down a ton, and then it didn't really do anything off the open. So my entire, the only reason for being in this trade is it got to the bottom, did absolutely nothing, barcoding. So we took that breakout, then it just started holding 405. And now bouncing off of VWAP. Now it's not really going all that far, so I'll reload VWAP. But I don't think I need this traveling too far underneath VWAP. If it's only going to show me 6s and 7s into 14s and 15s, then I don't want to be holding it down to 96 or 4 even. Like, I think the risk reward has drastically changed on this. And if it can't hold on to 05s, I can just punch out for a couple of cents worth of a hit. Lucid, I have a reload in Lucid. We talked about this one breaking down. So one breaking up, one breaking down. So I got this. It's crazy how this is barcoding. It broke down here at 395. We grabbed the short. Obviously, you're like right underneath at 94. It got down to 386. It bounced. It then just started barcoding at 93, 94 again. And this is a very similar story. I'm not sure I even wanted breaking this 95 top and not just getting out at 96. Sometimes you see this. Shout out to, I forget exactly who it was. This was a couple of years ago when we started the show on YouTube where this term barcoding got used. This is the better example of barcoding. We show you all the time where like a stock does a little bit, literally a 1 cent range for the last half an hour on Lucid. So if it breaks it out to the upside, I have no reason to be holding on to it. But there is something. Oh, okay. We're going to go to Brendo very quickly, just if I can.
Congratulations!
Block is still going to the upside. 3.5, okay, almost 4%. It is now breaking out of this channel at 53. Okay, when it breaks 53, it's breaking out of this channel to the upside. This has been a good one. It took some time to consolidate after those earnings, pulling back, and now you're absolutely flying. I want to get into this one. It's at 53 without actually breaking through just yet, so there's still a chance it can get down into 3/4. But this is a long until proven otherwise, and Block is telling you that. This is the only day that I don't actually get the long in the stock. Is kind of stupid, but I think let's rectify that because if the NASDAQ holds green, this is one that I want to be long in. Brendo, what's up?
Quickly, guys, ESTA, Establishment Labs, making a big move on volume. I don't see anything new on this. It was an earnings name today. It was actually after the close yesterday, but down huge on earnings. They cut their forecast. Earnings were a disaster, but trying to get back to the upside in a hurry here on pretty good volume as well for ESTA.
All right. All right. So the people's scalper is here again. We just scalping 10 cents on this. Like, there's nothing else to do right now. There's VWAP. We got long. This is literally 2 minutes ago. Didn't want to interrupt. We took the fill there. We just got out of half up there. Just real quick, like I'm not getting bored or anything here, but it's just like if nothing's going to happen, then honestly, nothing's going to happen. So we'll see. Like I'll try to take maybe a little bit more out here on Palantir. I don't know. We're actually already out of 60% of this. So if it falls back down, it falls back down. Like the short that we have on is MU. I don't have really anything else on. Yeah, congratulations to anybody that's long square. I mean, we're still trying to reap the benefit here of Upstart making that move as well. So hopefully, you know, all the payment providers can continue to maybe go upside. Not that Upstart, that's what Upstart is, but it's this sort of fintech kind of movement there. I mean, PayPal was an absolute monster to the upside here again today. So, I mean, this just took off on the midday. We were watching it. It just kept on going. That's still Upstart. Hold on a second. It just kept on going right there on the midday all the way, like just climbed there. Now you're finally getting to the 50-period rejection again. So up here, that's where the short probably was in play, back up 55.60. So here comes the pain back down into the downside right now for said name. So be very, very careful. Just a couple defenses on Uber, and that's it. We are going to get out if it breaks. Basically, that bottom is 60. I'm going to try another long down there if it comes in down there at 60, and then we're going to use 50 as our out, okay? So that's what we're looking to do right now. Okay, so Palantir just fell. So we actually took, if it was going to break back through 50, I just wanted to get out to make sure that we were still profitable on this name, and that is what we are. So again, we may reload this at VWAP again for Palantir, but again, a red name that we already took that. We told you we're out of 60% of it. So those were the outs right there, and then there's the out back in once it breaks back down below 50. Like we said, man, we just said we're scalping. So that's exactly what we do there. Now we're going to have to put on our scalper hat again for Uber because now we're long at 78. So if we can get something back in, the 50 period is back to 87. So something like that, and we'll get some more out here. We're still on a little bit of Palantir, so if that goes back up, great. But we're going to leave it alone now for a minute. Palantir, let it settle, and just work on this Uber trade. Uber's the #1 stock here today, P&L-wise, so we're going to still stay with it. But again, if it breaks this 50, then that's a problem spot for sure. Market trying to get back below VWAP. As I see, Randy's getting ready to rock and roll, so some EV talk in a matter of 10 minutes.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Actually, Randy came by and had some science to drop on some of the EV names today. I was like, man, you got to give this to the viewers. Meta, we're looking at it, Avi. Avi in the chat saying, you guys looking at Meta? Meta yesterday's high. It was breaching yesterday's top. And a lot of times in that kind of strength, it gets a lot stronger than the market, right? Okay, it's stronger than the market. A lot stronger is probably an overstatement. But it was breaking out of yesterday's highs and up 0.5% when the NASDAQ was just barely getting green. So I wanted to see where's the buying or the continuation buying over yesterday's high? It didn't happen. You're right back underneath it. I think that's what signals a turn to me. So if it doesn't hold, back above like 320.80, like right in here, that's where I would look for the reversal. So many times I'd be trying to short it off of that high and already be in the trade instead of looking for the failure and then playing the reversal after. Roblox, it was a good decision to get out. I wish I'd flipped short, didn't, but I am now looking for the short here. Like if Roblox, the morning, the wick bottom was right here at 39.40 and then the pre-market low was 39.25. These start getting taken out and the market rolls over. I like the short 42. I don't know. I know why I flipped into the long. I can't tell you I don't know why I flipped into the long, but it was to me it was a mistake. It's still trending into the downside. You got lower highs, and now that you've broken the 40 level, all you have to do is break out that morning range bottom, and this has a chance to absolutely flush. I want to get more Rivian. I'm still on the offer here, 1690s, looking for the stair step into the low of the day as that continues to head to the downside. And one more. Ye old AMC. Hey, let's not forget they report aftermarket today. We've talked about a bunch of names that report and then report. Actually, it is aftermarket, not pre-market. AMC, it's still trying to hold this $10 bottom. Now, I said during lunch money, it works both ways. You can like $10 at a level. It doesn't mean it can only be a long. So yes, it's had support at $9.95 underneath it. I would look for that 10, 997, whatever the heck you like in front of 995. But if that gets taken out today, I have zero problem flipping and reversing into a short on AMC if it breaks 995. That's a flat bottom break on the 15-minute chart with a pretty gigantic gap to be filled. 2 set downside on this one. I don't know how the earnings are going to play out. I just know that usually the fundamentals don't matter. So it's all about price action when it comes to this. And a flat bottom break is a bearish setup.
Oh, speak about today. I got a email. Chris Brecher will be joining. What did he call this? Oh yeah, here it is, right here. I just got to open this up in a new window here so I can show it to you. All right, so this is something he wants to talk about shorting. So he sent me this example, and I'm gonna have to talk to him about this. This is called the Brecher ledge. So to me, this looks like a flat bottom breakdown. So the Brecher ledge coming through there. He's going to talk all about it today. So if you're interested in short selling and things like that, join me tonight as we'll talk all about these kind of trades. What stock is this? First Solar. That's right. He had an idea on First Solar that he wants to talk about. So I believe that's a good little swing trade level there as it breaks the Brecher level, Brecher ledge there. So I'm going to try to pronounce that properly as he comes on tonight for the close. All right, so there goes Uber. Nicely done, back up to the upside. Let's see if it can get going again now. We'll see where that wants to go. Other than that, man, not much happening. Of course, Palantir wants to make a move back up, but not really. So we're going to wait for that one. Let's check out some Amazon. Oh, I know what I want to check out. Amazon's pulling back. Actually, it's not doing much. I want to check out Bros because this has been a good name here today. Good report, but yeah, okay, flat now. So I thought this was trading a little bit better. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, okay, so big move down early right there. Did I just get filled on something? Oh, yeah, we got filled on Uber right there. We'll talk about that in a minute. 10 cents again. As we talked about it, man, the people's scalper has turned into one today, right now anyways. Right there, 27's a good little drop-off area. Look at that right there, coming back in, and then that high again through. So if you're going to think about going long, I actually like this break. You're going to have support of VWAP there and a break of 27 for this trade to work out for us. So hopefully that will go right now. I guess it's Palantir kind of bouncing back a little bit here. It's still not doing anything, but we did hold on. So we still have, well, we didn't hold on. We got out of about 30% of what we had. Now it's a nice little upside move there for Palantir trying to get back up. I have an offer at 59. That's where I'm going to go. So it needs to get back up to the upside for us to do any damage. But hey, it's a green name. It's Palantir. And then there is Uber back upside right now, trying to grab some 86s, which we did, but need some more. So let's get going to the upside here for Uber. Wow. Does the market want to do anything? I mean,
that would be nice.
You know, we've got some positions on here, but honestly, like, I don't know, that little dip down, and that's where we got long Uber because the market dipped, but then it didn't really get back up there. So yeah, man, just trying to turn this frown upside down and find some winners. I mean, Micron is turning out for us right now to the bottom. So that's, whoops, so that's okay. Oops, that's not Micron. This is Micron. Oh no, that is Micron. Yeah, so it's actually holding 72 still. So yeah, not as good as I thought. Hopefully Micron can get going soon.
Yeah, Meta just set up. It just made a lower high. Was waiting to see what it does at that 321. There it is. It just made a lower high in there. I want to get that short in the 80s. I'm going to hang on to Rivian, but I might not be able to get a reload in it. But there are a few others. I just saw someone say short PayPal, which is ironic. Well, it's not, okay, it's not really ironic, but Square just got to the bottom of its range. And that is a, look, anybody can have a name for support breaking, right? You can call it a flat bottom break. You can call it a Brecher ledge. Again, it's just having an idea. But the concept is the same. I think where all of them is always nuance on how you want to approach trading it, right? Like, do you want to go long in front? Do you want to break down? Does it have to be on a certain time frame? My favorite ones are ones on the daily chart. No question about it. Like, if it's on a daily chart and it's a monster level on the daily, then I want that. Like, that's like a good swing entries. It gives you day trades as well. But on the day trade, it's not automatic one way or the other. And I think this would be a case of it where, sure, obviously Square, if you look at right here on a 3-minute, that's 52.75. If it breaks 52.75, yeah, that looks like a bit of a ledge, but it's got stair step up the whole way. Like, there's consolidation levels on volume pretty much the entire way down, despite there being a break at 75. So on a flag, if I like the strength on the higher time frame, which I do on the daily, I like where it's going. I think this breaking out has all kinds of room, even to get to like 55. Not that that's that likely today, but 55 in the next couple of days, and then 60 within, like, you could do that in a week, the way that it's making a move here. But on the day trade, I'd rather just be going into this 53, not taking a 53 break, looking long here, giving it just underneath 75, play it to the high, and try to hold some for the top. I like it on the higher time frames. My bias is to the long side here, but I wouldn't fight it underneath 75. If it's breaking down, I don't have to short it, but I do need to be out of it and not fighting the long at that particular point. If Lucid moves, I'll let you guys know. The amount of barcoding that's going on in a stock with, to be honest, like the short float that it has, it's just strange to see such a lack of movement in it. I don't want to chase Meta here. I'll come down a little bit into the 60s to see if I can get picked up in this consolidation. I don't want to chase that too far. I feel like Rivian's going to be a decent short. Do we think Starbucks is giving it up? From Jay's Passion. It depends on what the definition of giving it up. Short answer, no. I mean, it's at VWAP. It's still up 1%. If I look at it on the daily chart, like it broke out from about 103.75 to 104. So it's holding on above 104 on that tight little consolidation. It's consolidating above the last 2 days high. Like, this is what I'm getting at. So I don't like giving it up. It's hard for me to say that's giving it up. If it takes out 104 today in the afternoon, then I think it can start to give it up. But I see consolidation at the top levels in Starbucks on every single time frame. So I wouldn't describe that as giving it up. It actually looks relatively strong here again today off that 104 level.
All right, yeah, I love Starbucks. We've been talking about that for a minute. Hopefully it can continue to be strong. We're just, we got it, whatever, man, in trying to get woken up a little bit here. We're going to try to see what's going down with Intel. So we just short the 13s there, and now we'll wait to see if it wants to make a move back down. So there's the short off the VWAP. I mean, I don't know. We could take a small little piece out at 11s if we really did want to. But for right now, here we go to the downside, or at 10, sorry. Hopefully this can come in. And then my target for this is down here. There we go. We get some 10s immediately. Would be down into here 04, 05. So there we go. We're trying to run this a little bit here for INTC. So far, so good on this one. But, you know, quick little mover to the downside as we wait to see what's going on with Intel. Upstart's starting to go as well right now, so that's going to be a good one. And we are ready right now, so let's get ready to, well, here we go. First of all, just real quick, man. I mean, Intel, I am going to put another bid on here just to see where this goes, but it's trying to bounce off. It's not that big of a trade. It's just we put on a decent amount of shares because we were going to scalp it. So there we go. We'll get some out at 8s, 9s, 10s, and then hopefully this can fall in. Target here is about a dime. We're already 2-to-1 risk to reward. We're getting out at 15s if it broke, so we're already at 9s there. But all right, what's up, Randy?
Yeah, we're going to touch on a couple of things as far as the EV world is concerned. It's been a week or so of nonstop earnings. We get Rivian, obviously. We get Fisker coming out saying, hold on, wait a minute. It's going to be next week. So apparently Fisker is going to come out on the 13th now, I saw, instead of, it was supposed to be today, which is obviously not a good thing, or can't be a good thing.
It's either a surprise or they're tinkering with the report.
Forgot a zero here or there, and anyways.
Hopefully it's good news, but
yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, 13th is Monday, so I mean it's not even that big of a delay, but we'll see. Let's touch on Rivian to kick things off. I mean, for the first time, we were saying this morning, for the first time in as long as I can remember, increasing their production forecast. They opened the door for more possibilities with the delivery van.
yes.
And then you just saw that headline there. CEO RJ comes out and says, oh yeah, and by the way, the R2 platform is going to be previewed beginning of next year.
Lots of things in this report to cover on some positives. Again, their losses are declining, which should, you know.
Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. $1.34 a share compared to $1.57 year over year. But we have this elephant in the room called cash burn.
Yeah.
And the bond, I think the bond issuance is what dragged the stock down. I mean, the market took that as, you know, okay, you're reducing your cash burn. Production hell is still continuing. But, you know, how far are you through that production hell? Judging by the delivery numbers and judging by their revenue numbers, up 146%, they're getting there.
Yeah.
However, that's two models.
Yeah.
The R1T, the van. The fact you can buy the van for your own purposes now, not just Amazon, maybe you're a contractor, maybe you're a moving company.
Great.
Great,
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially inner city areas where you don't need the range.
Yeah.
The van is huge.
Yeah.
It was an in-depth look I read on one of the sites, and it's this thing is massive. You could live in it. That's another option.
Don't put it past people these days.
I like I like the numbers. The cash burn, they're trying to reduce it, trying to control their supply chain. Cost-cutting measures, which I think was an earhold to shareholders. There's been some constraints on their supply chain side.
Yeah.
They don't have the Tesla concrete footing as far as supply chain goes. They're getting there. 70% of their backlog, 71% is the R1S. We don't hear about much.
No.
Because they're not delivering hardly any. So if they can get the S out the door.
Which is the SUV, if anyone's wondering. Yeah.
The SUV. It's similar to the Ocean and, you know, sort of a Ford Explorer's neck of the woods. If they can focus on that, they've had good numbers with the R1T. They've had good reviews. They've ironed out most of the production problems and not a lot of recent recalls. Iron out the wrinkles in terms of the R1S and learn what they've accumulated on the R1T production and apply it to the R1S. Then I think we can bring these numbers down even further. Now, this cash burn elephant, though. They also announced they're looking at spending upwards of $5 billion on a plant in Georgia to build more vans, East Coast, and number two, the R2.
Right.
I think it's a little aggressive. we'll see. Bond issuances, and it may dilute the company even further to the point where, getting that many models out to appeal to a broader audience to increase sales is obviously the goal.
Yeah.
But you don't want to cut your nose off to spite your face. It's a risky move. But
I mean, he was still saying $4 billion by the end of the year for the full year.
Yeah, we'll see how realistic that is.
Could be a little bit.
Anyway, I like where they're going. They're getting there.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of right moves. The cost cutting is definitely for shareholders was a big thing. Sales are up, revenue's up. Let's give them another couple of quarters. If they can maintain this quarter over quarter and bring the volume up, I think we're in a good spot.
And you were saying same day delivery now in some southern states.
This is an interesting read. You can order a Rivian R1T on their website in the morning on the West Coast, US, have it delivered same day.
Which is unheard of.
If you look at the production numbers, and we'll just jump to my screen for a second.
The other one.
Oh, hang on. Wrong screen. There we go. Go full screen here. You'll notice they have both production and deliveries. Again, the R1T being a portion of the production, almost 50% compared to the vans, but they actually have inventory now. Which means they're producing more and keeping a few back to move along that backlog.
Yeah.
You can order one and have it delivered the same day. That's impressive. I don't know of any other. I mean, you can obviously walk into a GM dealer or a Ford dealer
and say, I want
day.
that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it's built to order and they have that model sitting somewhere in inventory and they deliver it to you, that's not bad. If they can do that with the R1S, if Amazon can order up 100 and they can have that in inventory and deliver them to, I think it was Germany recently where I read that, they're getting there.
Yeah.
That's a good response to the consumer who wants to go, I'm intrigued by this model. I want it. Let's have it.
As you said, more cash needed, however, so that's why most likely anyways we're seeing
cash.
a negative reaction today.
Exactly. Let's talk about Polestar.
Yeah.
Sean and I and Neil were talking about them briefly.
I mean, it's Volvo, but not Volvo Polestar.
Well, they're partially owned by Volvo, partially owned by a Chinese
it looks
billionaire
like
investment.
a Volvo, and it
So they ride,
like a Volvo,
they ride the Volvo coattails. They were largely designed by Volvo. Don't forget, Volvo has a great safety pedigree.
Yep.
They're kind of a subdued, more subtle design Q platform. They don't compete where Rivian does. They don't make a truck. They don't have a commercial vehicle. They don't have a contract with Amazon or any other big company for a number of outstanding orders. They solely rely on the consumer market. However, Volvo in Europe been around for decades and decades. Again, a great pedigree for safety. They're a great looking car. Gotten mostly a lot of positive reviews. You were telling me about the other one.
No, that one was too. It was an interesting look at a very specific model that we were talking about before we came on. But to their credit, this is a company that's been around, quietly for years. You've seen them around even in Toronto here for years.
Lots of Polestars on the road here. Not lots, but enough of them to notice the platform. It's been well reviewed. It's well built. Again, the safety pedigree built in. It's stylistic. They play a value proposition right now. The models they have on sale here are a lower price class, even lower than the Model Y. That's going to change. They're coming out with 2 luxury SUVs in probably the next 18 months. Volvo is definitely an upscale brand.
Right.
The XC90, they're going to move upscale to try and compete with Mercedes-Benz.
Which is also going to have an electrified version.
Exactly.
If it doesn't already, maybe it doesn't.
Exactly. So, I mean, not bad. 13,900 cars last quarter. And that's in the US. That's not bad. They did, however, lose $304 million. So they kind of have the same issue as Rivian is cash burn.
Yeah.
So they're a startup. Even though they have Volvo and a billionaire Chinese investor behind them, their cash burn is still an issue.
Yeah.
They're talking about raising, again, more financing in 2024. Sales are projected to be well up year over year, quarter over quarter. And again, they're going to add these 2 luxury SUVs to the lineup. But again, they largely rely on the consumer market. And I think they've got enough traction and enough of a foothold now that they can do that. Again, they're following Volvo's coattails. Volvo's always historically had great sales, especially in Europe, but they're now working on US and South American and Middle Eastern markets as well. And I think they're getting there. Again, they're in a similar financial position as Rivian, not losing as much money, mind you, but they have a much smaller and a much different market segment.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to bounce today, but the stock hasn't been very
well.
reactive.
All these global EV car companies are suffering financially
Yeah.
in large part because of inflation. Yes, there's still supply constraints. They're trying to figure it out. They're not all trying to beat Tesla, but they're all trying to compete with each other.
And it's funny because Tesla's the one that did at the end of the day. So
they did it.
We'll see who else can. Great stuff, Randy, with great detail as always on the EV group, guys.
Much appreciated as always.
He's killing it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like Randy, Randy wears a lot of hats around here. As anybody that watches the show,
He wears a toque today, I
sense of it.
noticed.
Yeah, he does wear a toque because he has a bald head, like myself. But he is obviously, as you can see, ridiculously knowledgeable when it comes to cars. So we love having him on. To be sure, all that said, Randy did the opposite of what Frank does at this time. Like it rolled the market over. Specifically, I'm not reloading Fisker. We'll just, like I said, if it breaks 4 or 5, I'm going to get out of this. I don't want it getting too far underneath VWAP. It's really only giving you 5 or 6 cents anyways to the upside. So risking more than that, which would have been an initial plan, I'm not going to do. But I am going to point out this barcode. I mean, I got into Uber underneath VWAP, but I want to point out another barcode setup that I threw into the chat. Datadog had a big move yesterday and kind of a big move at the open today, failed 104. But look at the 100 level here. Higher lows, so the bottom's underneath, it's like 99.20, but higher lows, and suddenly 99.80 into like 20 cents, like not 120 bucks, 120 cents, 40-cent range for a while. And if it breaks out the top, I think I just want to take the breakout. The longer something coils, the more interested I'm in that kind of a gimmicky trade off of those levels. So that's what I see for this name. We'll go into it if it makes that breakout of the high, which it clearly hasn't done yet. As far as new position, Uber broke VWAP. Oh, I got a bad wick. I'll get rid of that in a bit. But broke VWAP, got underneath 44.70. I'm short creatively enough at 49.70 at 49.69. We're looking for this to reverse, break this bottom. The other thing that's happening on the higher time frame for Uber is you're getting a bit of a rejection of this 50 level on the daily chart. And then again, on the 15 is where this really sets up. So 50 high yesterday, failed break. It only got to 50.32, so it really couldn't hold above. Second time, double tapped the top. Probably could have shorted 50 on the way back in, but shorting the break in this afternoon range and VWAP is I'm favoring shorts if this is not back above 50. Unless this gets back above 50, I'm favoring the shorts in Uber. Rivian just filled, so as the market goes down, logically, of course, Rivian comes back up into 17. Why not? It would be hilarious if the market rolls over from here and ends up firmly red, only for Rivian to break out and get back to $18, because that would be the perfect culmination to the end of the day. I was able to get a couple of good trades short. The third one, will it be a charm? We'll see. But I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to fight this one very hard. If it gets above 17, I think I just get out. What is the opinion here about Eli Lilly? I don't know, this. That. I was going to hit another one, but these are all very long. Eli Lilly is an absolute rocket ship. Now, I said this in the morning show. Actually, I mentioned this earlier in the week. Every time I get out of Lilly, it goes higher. I did take another 10% off. I put an offer out in the teens. Actually, it was actually at 12, not really even in the teens. It got filled this morning in my personal account. It looked like, oh my goodness, this is the best out ever for about, what was that, like an hour or so? And then like every one of my exits on Lilly, and again, I'm still holding the stock long term. It's just my timing is hilarious when I take chunks out of it because it's breaking out, continuing to go higher. This is a rocket ship. And the daily chart's telling you a bit of a story, and the story is it's a strong stock, which is making higher lows, and I would expect that you could make, let's just draw, like if you draw a trend line here, I think you get to like about 640 before the next peak. That's what it looks like here on Eli Lilly. So strong name, all the credit in the world due to it, and another good day for that stock, even when it looked like it was going to give it up. That's wild. I really thought that stock was giving it up. But it turned around. There's always buyers, it seems, on every single dip on Eli Lilly.
Yeah, just for anybody watching at home. Money. I mean, again. There it is, man. It's Intel. It's down to O's. I mean, target accomplished. 2 cents worth of risk. You know, 2 cents worth of risk to ring the Reggie at 13. Like, pretty good right there. I mean, we're obviously hoping to get more and more and more. I mean, let's just wait to see where we can go from here. But, you know, we just took some outs. We took some outs at O's and then 99s. So, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is, and it just continues to work out for us right now. That is Intel, and then bye-bye Micron. Like, I mean, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, just holding on to these trades, and they're working, and they're working real well. So Uber's my number one, well, is the number one stock today, but it's not really working. You know, I'm trying to get long. How long did that? I was bidding 60s there. How low did that go? Why did we? Oh, it went to 61. I'm literally bidding 61s, but missed it. That's okay. It happens all the time. We'll wait for that to come back in. We'll just leave our order there. If it fills it, it fills it. This could be a good spot just to take profit. I mean, Micron falling all the way back in. I told you that we were kind of like that Intel whisperer. We've done that for a little bit now on INTC. We've definitely been probably my top stock for maybe a couple months now. It's just been a good name, that's all. Like whether or not you've been able to get, you know, long or short it, it's pretty clean. Like, good move there. There's the VWAP trade and back in. So, you know, that's a trade that we're going to continue to try to put on, you know, as much as we can. It's a good one there for Intel coming back to through 99s now. So we'll watch out for that. And then I just think that this is, let's get out of this if it breaks back above 90. So again, my stop on this trade on Micron is 72.25, 26 break, so 25 break. So 26 is, so this is 6 cents worth of risk to right now get 33 cents. So again, a pretty good one.
Oh my
so
God.
let's stop that offer now and then put in a new one right now. So 71.91 to get out of 100% of it. We push enter and then we wait for this one to fill us up. So we're here, we're waiting. Let's see what happens right now with Micron. Hopefully it does come back in, and we're just going to hold Intel because we're here. We've got it. This is the short, so let's just keep on watching to see where it goes. What's up to Roger? Also loves Intel.
Roger in the house. I love to see new people in the chat that I haven't noticed before. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's the first time through, hope you're enjoying it. While that was going on, I did get that trigger into Datadog. This is pretty gimmicky. I mean, it's not often that you see this over and over again, but I feel like every single day we're finding at least a half a dozen names that are doing some kind of a long consolidation. And then when there's any volume pickup, I just want to keep taking shots. And there's the volume spike, there's the break. I got 28s in here. Once we get up into VWAP, I want a couple exits, then hold on just to see how far it's going to go. I waxed poetically and complained about Fisker. Well, Randy was on, that it wasn't doing anything, and it bounces and does nothing off 05. But I've moved my stop to 405 there, just to update positions. Uber not doing a heck of a lot off of that VWAP break, but it's very slowly sliding to the downside. I'm just going to get a bit at the 50 level because it's a nice round number there. And I also want to get one down, zoom out a bit. There you go. Right down in here in the 30s. I look at where this stair stepped up off of 49, and I want to have some exits on the way back in to the downside. Now that it's taken out VWAP, it does feel like it's a little bit heavy. It's failed to 50. It just failed the 50 level for me. So we're going to get into that one. If it gets above VWAP again, I can get out at the 80s. And Datadog just gave one fill in front of 50. Let's look for another in front of VWAP and then just try to hold it. I don't know where this is going to go. It's just relieving pressure. Like there's no name for that trade. I guess you could call it a flat top break. Consolidation break is the best thing, best way to describe it that I can think of. But I also want to look at something I have not traded, and that is Alphabet. I haven't really traded the stock at all today. But you've got this false break. It's not a false breakout. It did break out the morning range, like the opening high. So double top, 131.75. Took it out nicely, rejected. Now you're struggling to get back above. If this cannot get back above, is another thing a threat of rolling over. And the key is, do we actually hold on or roll back over in the futures? And if we're rolling back over and I see us take out this 15.35, then I want a few names to the short side. I think in that case, Uber should work. But Alphabet failing that breakout level looks like a decent setup as well. I'm looking for the futures to go if I'm going to take one of the Mag 7 names. I want that in my back pocket, that there's some weakness there. And always a chance it turns into strength off of that level. I want to give that its due.
What's up to, here we go. Who's this in the chat here? What's up, Kay? Kay Musitano. Can we look at PRSO? right. I have no idea what this is, PRSO, so I will do this for you. All right, Paraso Inc. 32 cents. I don't like that one, but we can do it for you because we said we would, so here it is. All right, so Paraso Inc., what's good for you? All right, just got to hit cancel off on that one. All right.
Still on me.
Yeah, still up 114,000.
Guys, on screen, please.
Yeah, what's up, Ramin? That's all good. All right, so here we go. It's Paraso, and yeah, I don't know what the news is with this one, but obviously it's nicely up today. Look at this, a nice big candle to that upside. I mean, a lot of you that trade on this kind of a style will notice that you got to zoom out, right? So look at this, nice move to the downside. Here it is back up. I'm not sure what the news is, but the 200 period is right here at 47. So you're going to have to watch out for that, possibly as a top. But again, a pretty active name, needless to say. There, watch out for 47. But that's PRSO. I honestly don't have obviously that much to say about it. I don't know anything about this. But it's a nice mover. It's done 93 million shares. So congratulations if you're on this name. Good one here. PRSO.
Yeah, I was just.
I mean, I don't have much to say.
Even the volume, it's not even 100 million. A lot of times, if it's underneath 50 cents, you want that, like multiple hundreds of millions. And the liquidity doesn't look all that great. The only thing I would add to that is don't treat this as a risk 1 cent or 2 cent type of stock, because that's not what it looks like on level 2, nor is that how it's trading. It does feel like it's more of you're risking 5 or 6 cents when you get in, which is, it can be like 20%. Yeah. And so you have to always put things in categories like that. Like a penny stock where you're risking 20% per entry is just very different from something where you might only have to risk 5 cents because it's a very, very tight spread and there's a ton of liquidity. So I'd put that into the other side, unfortunately. I just want to go back over to the dog. Datadog, it did get into VWAP, so the consolidation break starting to work. The market's bouncing. Look, the market is obviously helping by bouncing a bit, but it still made the break. Now I'm just going to hold on. Once we get to VWAP, tighten the stop right up. I don't want this thing getting back underneath that breakout because it's made, as far as I'm concerned, it's made the move. It's not stepping up. It broke and it got to VWAP. I don't want it back under. I'll just put the trailing stop, or it's not really a trailing stop, but I'll move my stop back underneath my breakout price and give it an extra 5 cents or so, and then go from there. What else we got going on? Bust a move, Snap. I don't know if Snap is busting any moves lately.
I don't know.
But it is, you know what? It's up today. If you're green today, it hasn't been going poorly because the market's been trying to get green. Oh yeah, Snap on the daily chart that's way better than I haven't looked at this chart in a while. I didn't realize it was actually looking this decent on the daily chart. Above the 50 and 200 periods, it's broken out 10. It's been green for like 7 or 8 days in a row with one red day. And it's actually a good long, but it's a scalp trade long. Your range is 15 cents today. The afternoon yesterday was 15 cents. Even when it makes a big move, you're less than $0.50. So it's a good stair step to the upside with support at 10.90 or maybe 11 this afternoon. Yeah, you got yourself a decent long. It looks like a better swing concept than it is a day trade, unless you're already in off those lows, because that is a 10-cent range. And if you try buying the top of a 10-cent range when there's 5 cents to the high of the day, usually you're going to get yourself into trouble, because then it needs to break the high to break the high and go higher to get 1-to-1 to support. So if it gets back down to 10.90, which I seriously doubt that's going to happen, I might get involved in that kind of a trade. But yeah, good look for Snapchat. Maybe it is going to break out. Could be on one. Uber not really doing anything off VWAP. Like the market bounces a bit and it stays in the same range. So it's not going to do this forever. It's either going to get back above VWAP, in which case I think it has a chance to run higher. I don't want to hold it past 80, and I want to wait until it gets to 49.50 before we get out of that one.
All right. Yeah, just trying to do very similar stuff here with all my trades. Just trying to analyze things. Because although it's only 3:09, there's not too much time left here in the day. So we're going to have to watch out. Remember, we do have those imbalances coming through as well. That could always hit the market. So be careful with that as they start to come through again. So we'll wait and see what we can do. But right there, Intel, more outs. It didn't do much. We got 96s, 97s. Let's see if it can fade out. People.
Wow.
I don't know, honestly, what else to to do. Micron broke above there. We got out. That was a good winner for us, obviously, as you guys can see there. So, yeah, nothing wrong with that trade. But we still got to wait for something to happen because right now nothing is happening. And I just hate to talk like that.
Except Lily going higher.
Yeah, actually, I put in. I'm assuming I got filled. I put a 615 offer there and got
It just
filled.
went another $4, so yeah.
In my own account as well, just because of the same reason. Like,
Stock is ridiculous.
but they got that acceptance.
Yes.
So that's what they got. They got the FDA there, and now they can start applying for acceptance into other aspects. I don't know if it was diabetes or weight loss or what, but there's Eli Lilly today.
They got the trifecta.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just trying to see what was it today. So hold on a second here. We could just look this up on Trade Ideas right now. Eli Lilly going to news and weight loss drugs. Yeah, there it is. So it's this weight loss drug, Zepbound, approved by the FDA. Will be available at $1.06 per 6 doses. So I don't know what that means exactly, if that's good or not. But there it is right there. So that news hit. And, you know, since then, nice upside pretty much all day here for Eli Lilly, except for, I think, when that news actually came out. Like, we had a nice downside move there, I guess, in anticipation of the release. I don't know if, Brendan, if you have a time for when that sort of came out there, but 595 all the way back up to 610, 615, and there goes Eli Lilly right now back up to 620. So it's obviously a good mover here. If this is your style of trade, I know Adaro was on this, but if this is your style of trade, then you're waiting for multiple dollars. Like, you're not, the spread alone is 30 cents, you know, like 04s to 61s, scratch that 43 cents, you know, so not great for the style that potentially we do, but, you know, for a longer term break, it's been great. I mean, you just had to, even if you took this break right here, 613, you know, that had worked. So there it is, nice move to 620. So yeah, I guess I also don't have the top, but I only had 10 shares of this thing. So I got out of another 1 share today. So now I have 8 shares of Eli Lilly in the longer term portfolio. So we got out of that. I do want to raise capital. We did talk about the NASDAQ being now up for 8 straight days, looking for 9th. So it looks like it'll be in a little bit of pressure today. Well, it's looking. I don't know. I still think it gets there. I still think this is a green. Put that, Bears versus Bulls, new chat alert. Will the NASDAQ be green or red today?
Yes.
Put it in immediately. No, take your time. But when you get a second.
Immediately is cool too.
Yeah, or immediately, whatever you want. But definitely put that in there, my friend, and we'll get that going. I think he has access. Or maybe he doesn't have access
you know what?
to the
No,
YouTube chat.
I'll do it.
Ramin can,
No,
you do it.
it'll take me literally.
Yeah, so let's do it then. So we're going to put that in, what you guys think. I am going to vote for, despite being short right now. So that might mean I have to get out. So we are short Intel right here. Just for you, again, players at home, I only have 20% left of this name. This hit target, and once it hit target, man, that's what we're here for. We talked about, you know, putting on our scalper hat. We self-proclaimed ourselves the people's scalper. So that right there, we did that, we took it, and we're staying true. So there it is. We got some more out there at 38. Let's see where we go right now. We still got Upstart, Uber, Okay, so honestly, this Palantir trade came back. I got some flats there at 50. I was debating getting longer here at 40s. It's just such a small position right now, but still, you know, I don't want to talk negatively about it. It's something that I have in. Palantir is a positive stock for me today, but I'm just holding that 10% left to see where we go. So hopefully Palantir can make me some cash here if it does bounce back up. But I'm debating going long again here, PLTR.
Okay, so the poll is up. I'm going to, wait a minute, I did it. Oh, there it goes. I just wanted to cast my vote. So I'm going to vote for yes because it's way more fun to vote for the to hope for the market to go up, right? So
what do you think is going to happen? That's what it is. It's not for
no, I like to vote what I want to happen. Like at the end of the day, when you're trading, I'm short Uber, I'm short Rivian. Like the longs that I have, it was a gimmick trade that I actually just got out of in Datadog, and I got Fisker, which that's literally doing nothing. So it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like I think it's going to go upside. I think we just made a lower high. I'd rather go for that, but I just voted for fun. But I also blamed everything on Randy if the market it goes red. And it's not to throw shade at Randy, but we have another guest at 245 who always seems to buoy the markets. So if we do fail, then that would be the first time that we've actually, or that I've paid attention to what the market does. Because Randy's come on in the afternoon before, I have zero idea what usually happens, so just for a little fun there. One more note here, I did get a refill on Rivian. It's the third time off this level. If it got to 17 without really breaking it, so it's 5 cents away. It could easily come out, and then we just get stopped out underneath VWAP, but it was way too late to getting on the short on Rivian. It's giving you a couple of scalp opportunities, and now really not doing a heck of a lot, but it's at least making higher lows for the first time today. A good bounce here, but it's a little different of a continuation. Like this one might be a slower move to the upside, but in some ways it's been a little bit more methodical, and methodical can be good. Datadog, we talked about moving our stop here, and maybe you want to still be in this, but that's a gimmicky break that got to VWAP, so I'm just going to get out when it goes right back underneath my entry price. So in, get out, and then take the last third out, lose a couple of cents on it, and just be happy that this is a setup which for whatever reason has been happening in the afternoon, and every time we see it, we take it. The last time I did it was on Pinterest, and shout out to those who reminded me of Pinterest and why this stock is still long. You don't have to worry about whether this is going to close red or green. Spoiler alert, it's going to close green today on pins. It is still breaking out. Sometimes you don't want to get away from this. Big gap up, run for a few days. Then you consolidate the high on the massive high on the daily here at, wow, that wick just came in. There we go. Massive high here in the daily around 31. Fast forward to, oh goodness. So there's your 31 top a couple of times, and I guess I can do that to get rid of it. And then you're finally breaking away from the 31 level today, taking up 31.30, yesterday's high. Solid stair step up. It's a long until it's not. I would just look trend long above this 31 level on Pinterest and start the day with that. Like, I'm not saying it has to go up every single day, but my bias is going to be to the long side on Pinterest for at least a little bit here. I'm finally out of that Fisker trade. It just broke 405. So I was in at 6s and 7s. I'm out at 404.5, as it looks like this one is giving up the ghost. It is bizarre to me when a 42% short float name opens the day down almost, at one point almost 10%, and then proceeds to essentially do nothing for the rest of the day. Like, there's not any big short covering, there's not any falling over itself. I tend to think that's bullish when it doesn't flush even further, but it doesn't give you much more than a scalp trade to the long side. I'll still think about the long with that short flow. The longer it holds $4, the more I'm going to think about that bounce play off of an even dollar level. At some point, these are all value propositions.
Yeah.
Like 42% short float, nobody was covering today? Seriously? There's got to be a long in there somewhere. Like, what's the whole point of these massive short floats if you can't get a good squeeze every now and then?
Yeah. So Uber just fell into the level here. So it's at 49. So we're long at 49.65. So let's see what's going to happen right now for Uber. We're getting close to that breaking spot. So we got to be a little bit patient with this and then see where we go from here with that. So right now, that's what we're on. We're waiting to see if there's any sort of a trade here. I do have to adjust some of this. So there it is. We're going to get stopped out at 50. So if this breaks below 50, then we are going to be gone on this trade. So just alert to that on a break below 50. I just got to make sure I have the stop in because, yep, okay, so all good. So we're still long at 65. We're going to wait out for that one. Again, if the market falls, fine. You know, I put in that I thought the market was going to turn green, so maybe that would mean that Uber could go back up to the upside. But again, it's my number one stock. We're going to see where it goes from here, and then we'll just play it accordingly. Hopefully, Uber back upside. But again, if it drops down, we have our out. Unfortunately, it will be 15 cents, so that will suck on that. But Upstart's still doing it. Palantir not doing anything. So let's find out what Micron's doing. Still doing nothing. Oh, Disney. So, okay, Disney came with some news today, right? And that was that they were looking to sell or get a deal or something done with either the NBA or NFL or a major sports franchise. I guess it's something similar, and I don't know. We're going to probably hear more about it tonight as Bob Iger and folk bring us their report. But again, talking about a potential deal with one of those organizations just to diversify, or I guess the other way around, get out of that sort of business with ESPN and maybe just focus on the direct-to-consumer, or I don't know exactly. That's what we're waiting for. So we're going to see that today. It did give a little bit of a spike. We got long there at 36s. We got some outs at 57, tried to average it back in, then eventually dropped it at there once it broke 20. So that seems to have been the bottom for that. But for right now, just waiting to see what happens with Disney here tonight. It should be a good report. I actually added to some of my Disney position here today. Let's see what happens. I've been buying it at $80 in the past. I actually looked over at my position and I didn't have that much of it. So we've been long this name. Let's just see if the turnaround story can somehow be there. We've seen some nice positive talk on travel and things like that. So we do know that they have the big cruise line.
Yeah, the cruise lines.
So
and,
let's just
and the parks, that's not the problem.
Right, so
Yeah,
let's see if they can figure out the other side, and that is going to be the DTC side. So we'll wait to see if Disney Plus numbers can get a little bit better. Who knows?
Well, I'll tell you what's not gonna. Okay, so don't at me when I say this. You guys know I'm a big nerd and I love the comic book stuff, and so I love Disney. But I don't think this Marvel movie is gonna help things. That's just my 2 cents. So I was waiting to do this because if we all have our ideas of where we're gonna go, I'm gonna ask the Magic 8 Ball: will the NASDAQ close green today and continue the streak? You can't say maybe. It just said maybe. Okay, that's no. Same question. Maybe is not an acceptable answer. I'm not telling. Okay, seriously. If it wasn't for the fact that that was a gift from one of our viewers, thank you, Mr. Westermeyer, I'd throw that thing. You're gonna tell me maybe, and then I'm not telling? How was I'm not? I guess that's one of the older ones that's usually there, but it's custom. It has a bunch of things that are custom to us, and then of course I shake it and it gives 2 that are oddly generic. But I did get some out there in front of 50 on Uber, so that consolidation short, 69. My stop was at 80. I've moved that to 75 because it showed me, like you get in here, I'm stopping it at 80, and then it showed me a high here at 74, and that's VWAP anyways. So we get some out there for about 15 cents worth of a win. If it breaks back out, we get out of this trade. Don't worry about it. I am still in Lucid, so like this is just, it's stupid. There you go. Literally nothing has changed on Lucid. I am 100% getting out if it breaks 95. As a matter of fact, I might even, as long as this doesn't make this break in the last, call it 10 minutes, I actually think I want to reverse this and just go long 95 half or 96. Like this kind of a barcode, how do you not just break it out to the long side? Look what happened the last barcode. If you got 88 or 89, it was like a free 3 cents when you're risking 1.5. Yeah. So and again, like I'm going to cross with an order that has the ability to pick up some midpoints. It doesn't mean when it breaks this you get 95 half, but at least the option's in there. This is stupidity that it's even doing this. This has a 20. Check that because I was wrong when I said Rivian today. I would have been right. 26% short float. It's going to barcode like that and break the top down 8%. Why not go into a long? It just has to happen, which is ridiculous how it's not doing that. The other name I wanted to get to, I did miss out on Meta. I wasn't willing to chase it. I should have chased it. We'll slap the old fail on that. This was the setup. Look for the stair step down. It gave you even this wick here to get in. I didn't get the short, but you're seeing it now double bottom into 31.95, which was the opening high. So bouncing off this level, I don't necessarily like. Don't chase that short down there. This is where you'd anticipate a bounce.
All right, so let's see. So right now, you could see, will the NASDAQ close green today? Right now it's 45 yes, 55 no. So we will wait to see where this goes. As I voted yes, we're right now flat. We still got a little bit to go. Let's see what happens now with the NASDAQ. You can, of course, join me at the end of the show as Traders Stay Late is sort of the hashtag, so you can go find that. See what we're doing here later on tonight. Should be a fun one. Again, we'll have Chris Brecher as he talks about the Brecher ledge and going short and looking for some names. Just because of this epic sort of move upside now, we've already talked about what the market's been doing and that we're looking at 9 straight up days for the NASDAQ. And the last time that we've had 8 straight days, it was followed by in 2021 in November, where we started a little bit of a move back in the markets at that point. So we'll see. It's the longest streak since then. So we're going to wait to see if it can still hold out hope on that one. All right. I'll look at whatever stocks you guys want right now because I'm still in Uber waiting for that one to basically fall out. And if it does, it does. That's going to suck. Remember, this first spot, we were taking only about a dime or so on these trades, right? So 70s, 7s, up to 86, 85s, and 87. So we didn't even get a dime. But I'm not really following my rules because we've broken below VWAP right now. So this is reminding me of the other day when we sort of shorted Palantir and it just, kept going, and then eventually we got stopped out. So this could be the case for Uber as I'm like, woe is me, we're out of the money 5 cents. But anyways, we don't have a huge amount of shares. We're not piling into things here near the end of the day, okay? So that's not been a recipe for success for me. So we've already done a lot of damage early. You guys saw those trades. And in fact, we still have the Upstart trade on board right now. We're going to see if that one wants to go. But here's Uber's trying. We can get something back up to 65. We might as well take out something if we can get something back up there. So we will try to get something at 65, there, I put out 20%. Maybe that can come through for us. But after that, it's just Intel short. And then anything else you guys want to know? Yeah, damn, Daniel. Yeah, you're right about that one. Warner Brothers, nah. Hard pass on that. We can look at Netflix, though. But thanks for that, Fabian.
That's a huge mover today.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Yeah, wasn't there some deal?
I mean, it's down 18%.
Yeah, was it earnings or?
Yeah, it was a report today.
Okay, so we can look at Warner Brothers.
It's not moving now. I didn't mean that in the sense that it's definitely not moving right now.
Yeah, good. That's what I mean. Good call. Just I hadn't looked at it. I'm not very familiar with it.
You had to trade it at 9:30. There's nothing else to do.
Okay, so that's all right. So Warner Brothers, good look. I'll call it up in a second for you. This is a little more interesting. Again, didn't come across any scanners or anything like that, but look where Netflix is. It's right at VWAP as well. So if you are negative on this market, then there we go. Maybe there is something there for you on Netflix right now, trying to turn that one back around to the upside, maybe. Or if you think about a break, maybe the long there at 435. I'm using words like maybe, that's not common for me. I like to tell you guys trades that I would make. I just wouldn't make this right now. If I was going to do something more aggressive, it would be a name like Tesla, one that I trade all the time. We gave a great winner on this yesterday, about $1 right at the end of the day on momentum. And it looks like it's almost the exact same time and the exact same level again. Yesterday at this time, we hit 222 long. And it went up to 223 right there at the close. So that was a good trade. And look, it might happen again. This is actually not looking that bad right now for Tesla trying to get to Greensville itself. So we'll see what happens right now. But Tesla is going to be a decent trade, I feel like, breaking through this 222. So watch out now. We'll see if that one can come back in. And then I'm looking at here, Uber just bounced off 64 a couple times. So we've been holding on to this one. The problem is it's at the 20 period or the 21 period. Shout out to Max on that one. And then you do have the 50 period right here at 67. So I'm not sure how far this is going to go. Would love to get it back to VWAP. We're taking about 15 cents worth of risk here. So let's see what Uber has in store for us. But right now it's...
But would Jordan love it?
Not doing anything. He probably takes a lot of Ubers. Yeah. He would.
All athletes should take a lot of Ubers.
Yeah.
No, that's one rant you don't want to get me on, man. It's like the whole nothing, if you're a professional athlete, nothing good happens after 2 o'clock and you make that much money. Why are you driving yourself? It's a weird thing, man. Anyways, I have pet peeves about safe driving. Rivian just bounced again. It bounced 16.8, but slightly higher lows and very slightly higher highs continuously on this name. So I have a bid down here thinking we can get down to 16.6, but if it bounces off of around here 16.7, I might just get out of that trade. It's almost 3:30. We're gonna get the early look in 90 seconds on the imbalances. That will be spicy. Okay, it could be spicy. I shouldn't say will. There's so many names out there that reported and then still report and a bunch of squeeze names. I feel like something should be moving. You can't barcode like this on as many names as I'm seeing and then not have them. Usually you're going to have some kind of a move at the end of the day. Rivian, I just saw in the chat, Elon in the chat, not Elon Musk. He wouldn't think Rivian's going to bounce. But saying Rivian will bounce tomorrow. I really don't. I don't know, and it's a weird one in that if you look at what happened today on the chart, it's telling me like why wouldn't I be short this? Stair step to the downside, fails a breakout above the 200 period, fails at 18 level, couldn't really, and still barely holding on to the range support at 1685. That's another reason to maybe get out of this if it bounces here. Like, why wouldn't it retest at 1615? I'd feel much better if it had failed this bottom underneath 16 and then recovered it and was bouncing off to 16. It didn't quite get there. Like, it just, I don't know. There's a Y Brothers United saying heavy put volume at 16 bucks. Yeah, I mean, you can see that. What else is happening here? I wanted to go back over to Meta because the market's bouncing. How strong is this? Nope. All right, I saw the market bounce a bit. I'm like, hey, maybe Meta's back up at that 321 for a short trade. Clearly that's not happening, nowhere near that entry point. Oh, but we just got filled on Uber, so that continues to work. Gonna ring the register here, because what the heck was that? I was just sitting on the bid. We said we liked it here, and then I pointed the wrong direction. I do this a lot of times. Here, and then here, and then here. So that'll be 49. Whatever that hammer candle was, it got me on the bid of Uber. And I'm gonna think trend short. Okay, maybe not super trend short because it's a strong stock. But now that it's failed the 50 break, at least until, if it breaks this flat bottom tomorrow, at least until 47 on Uber. Where if it holds 47, remember, this thing pulls back to 47, it is still bullish on the longer time frame if it bounces there. Remember the lesson of Square. I'm telling this to myself. It made that big pullback, looked like it was giving it up after earnings, and then just held on to the bid. Now it's breaking it back out. Square did this. I feel like Starbucks is another name that's looking somewhat like this. Sure, it had the big gap, but then it consolidates, and then it just breaks out again. So I still think Uber can do that. It just happens to be reversing in the short term here.
Yeah, just listening here. Disney coming after the close. Suncor, Manulife, MGM.
Ooh, Manulife.
Tons of stock coming after market today. It is going to be a big earnings day here. So join me in just a couple minutes. Now it's 3:30. What was that imbalance? 422 to buy. So okay, so still some actionable events there.
Great number.
Into the close right now. So we're going to wait to see if anything's going down for that one. We obviously, Uber broke there, so we wound up getting out of UBER on that break lower there. So that's an out for us. Intel now 20 cents. I mean, everything's going down right now. So, you know, if you voted downside right now, it's looking better than it was before. So.
We're like 0.07 on the NASDAQ down. I think it's very much up in the air, obviously.
Yeah, very much, very much.
We still haven't moved that much.
I'm going to get some more out here on Intel if we can. It looks like we will be able to do that. So there it is right now, a little bit more outs there on Intel at 93. Take advantage of that as that's starting to move down a little bit as well. So, yeah, man, so far so good here as we go. So there's going to be lots of stuff happening today on the aftermarket. Intel, I mean, Palantir is not doing anything. Upstart's still not doing anything. So we'll just go and try to find out what other names. I liked Amazon today for sure. So that could be something that maybe we tend to look at for the short. It's given it up. We tried the short there. We got stopped out. But 142.20 maybe. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not that thrilled with any of these positions right here, right now. So let's just try to continue to find something. I guess Micron. Nah, Micron's not doing anything. We could check back in on Rivian. So Rivian's been good again. I mean, we've had some Rivian love here today. Back up to 17, maybe a potential short, but wait for VWAP 1720. We've done pretty well there, but again, got dropped out at 1670 and I repeat, do not have that long again, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But yeah, so far so good, and we'll just wait to see if these imbalances do anything. I'm not, like I said, not super excited about anything I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I think patience is usually a virtue around this time of the day. So I'm going to go with that. We're in a few names, but remember, like Lucid's not going to go. It's not going anywhere. Like Lucid, I almost don't care. It's a position that we're in it. We've been in it for a while. It had a small reload, but it's not moving at all. I think the next thing that probably happens here is Rivian takes out that top. There will not be a fourth trade off of this level. It breaks 17. I just get out of it. I'm not going to fight it here. Netflix really is interesting. B. Reed just said eBay to you.
Okay, okay.
eBay, see, there's so many things reporting this. You can't trade it all. You can't look at it all, but haven't hit that today. Could have hit that off the bottom for a lot of things, but eBay, this is what whatever you want to call it. I just see a reversal candle on the daily. I don't know, whatever you want to call this. Breaks the local bottom at 38, rejects underneath, there's your wick, and then we're going to close higher. And it looks exactly the same thing in the pre-market. There's your failure underneath the 38 level, and then an absolute you-know-what-you candle to anybody that was short eBay off the 38, and then stair-step to the upside, just bleeding higher. So eBay, okay, I'd say long till it's not, but more along the lines of long till 41, which it's at 40 now. So long for another $1 maybe. I guess that means you can't trade it this afternoon because it's not going to do that today. But at least tomorrow, maybe it has a chance. Like 39, there's your reversal price. It's still bullish over 39 into 41. Great move for that. I keep seeing Lily Moon.
It is mooning.
Eli Lilly to the moon. Still going higher. 4% and showing absolutely no chill whatsoever. This is it's a rocket ship to the upside, but it's been a rocket ship to the upside for a while.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. That Eli Lilly, I mean, there's so much runway there, like breaking those highs and continuing to go. So congratulations, anybody that's been on that trade. And I know there's been a few of you. So good job there. We talked about that with Adara, trading it earlier on in the day. And again, it's just not there for me yet on that one. Tesla. So still bouncing off that 222 area there. So that's, I know we have that poll up there. That's something pretty interesting. I think if you're going to look at anything now, maybe it's just the names that are, shout out to Dan McIsaac. Apparently, Brendo, it's F1 news with Disney as well. So maybe a little something
F1
there. I don't know. I just say that because I know Brendan's a big F1 fan there. So maybe there is something. I love that. Like if they can hook up with F1, I mean, that's good foreign content. I mean, I think in Europe and everything is very, very
get as much
popular.
sports as you can, man.
Yeah, get involved. I mean, sports is not going, if anything, like you see what the Saudis are doing to invest in some of the players and bringing them over, and you saw what Apple did.
You know what I think?
For MLS. No, what do you think?
Everyone talks about AI for like all the efficiency and just the whole, everyone's going to have to work less and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
I saw a comment out of somebody, I don't know who the heck this was in India, where they're saying, yeah, everyone needs to work 70-hour weeks. Look, the way AI is going, the average person in 30 years is going to be working less because of more efficiency. So what does that mean? More leisure. So that to me means things along the lines of sports become more, all entertainment. I don't care whether it's e-gaming, all that stuff. It gets way more exciting and there's going to be a heck of a lot more of it. Don't rule it all out. My dad was asking me, he's like, oh man, what do you think about the IPL? I'm like, he's a big cricket fan.
Right.
I'm like, that's the NFL. Like, I don't know a way to invest in gambling and cricket in India right now, but if there is one, somebody please let me know, because I think in 5 years it's going to be insane. And as obviously the economy matures, it's just going to get even better. And if you don't understand that cricket, trust me, imagine 1 billion people that love, like, in the U.S., everyone's obsessed with football. I think everyone understands that, and betting is everything there. 2020 cricket is the same thing in India. So as far as I'm concerned, at some point, gambling on 2020, if it's not already huge, is going to explode. I have no idea how to turn that into me making money, but at some point, maybe I'll figure that one out. But
I think it's just DraftKings and all that, because I mean that's where the
I don't
money.
know. Yeah, I don't know who does it over there. I'm actually not sure about that.
Yeah,
If they
I mean
do.
DraftKings probably has it. That's what I'm saying. They have all sports.
I'm sure that, yeah, for sure. But again, this started with more content worldwide for Disney on sports can only be good. So I'm with you on that one, 100%. I didn't know anything about that F1. I'm sure Brendan has an opinion about that.
He has one right now, or we have it. There's something on F1. Okay, let's go to Brendan.
Yeah.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
So look, I know you can bet on cricket. What I'm more curious about is, do they have daily fantasy the way that they do here, like individual players and like that kind of like the heavy prop betting, or is it just very basic? Like that's a big thing. And I also want to know if there's something, because obviously, yeah, if you can do it on DraftKings or whatnot, but is there something locally in India, which could emerge as a big winner because it happens to be the big local thing. Kind of think EVs and BYD. Like, is there a gambling company that has a chance to emerge there that would be similar to BYD, which who cares what Tesla's doing there? BYD's kicking everybody's butt. That's, again, it's just an idea. I've been thinking about that for a bit because I think it can be absolutely huge. Like, you see how, I know how Americans are with, I've been to the Cricket World Cup, so I know how Americans are with football. And the only way I can express is I was at a Final Four in Detroit in a basketball stadium. I've been to Monday Night Football. I've seen some college sports. That's the only way I can describe it when you get passionate cricket fans. Forget about the Australian fans, too. They're absolutely wild. You don't think of it as that kind of a sport, but it is. I'm reloading right now in Uber. What the heck is this on Uber? Like, can my chart for a second? We can? Like, I was just getting out, and then it's right back into this hump in the 60s. So I'll take that same stop at 75 and then see if it just rinse and repeats. We have 10 minutes. If that same thing had happened and it was 349, I wouldn't take the fill. But there's at least 8 or 9 minutes for it to make a move before we have the imbalances come out. Although when I see something like that, I should have probably gone over here. On the off chance, like if I see an early look imbalance on Uber to the buy side, I think I'll punch out. But I don't. Okay, BAC and Coke, who cares, Citigroup, all buy side, but like 1 million shares, Suncor, NCLH, 750,000, early look imbalances there, CCL, Snapchat to the sell side. Yeah, so I don't see Uber or any of the names that we're really trading on the early look for the imbalances. But had I seen Uber there after that spike up, I probably would have just said, hey, maybe somebody knows something is reacting to an early look imbalance because that's a bit of a weird flush and then bounce back up.
Yeah. All right. So Uber back and forth there. Yeah, we're already out of it. It doesn't look to me like Intel wants to do anything. Again, we got a 93 fill down there. I'm just trying to bide the time until the close. Do we have the earnings board, Ramin? Why don't we get the earnings board up if we have that? Because maybe we could look at some names that are reporting here that we're going to talk about on the closing show as well. So we know that there's a whole bunch. Carvana was making a move upside.
Yes.
There was some look at that 35. Well, I think it's still that 35 level that we had from a couple days ago. Yeah, so right there, yeah, wow, another stop at 35. So CVNA again today. I mean, right back to 35. We actually talked about that the last couple days, and I was just like, oh, what about the 35 level? And it turns out to be a good level there, 35 right there. So there's the earnings board that we wanted to have a quick look at. So let's do that right now. Tonight, like I said, Suncor, MGM is going to be there. There's, oh yeah, Firm, AMC. I mean, this one for AMC shareholders. Hopefully it can get ready to moon. I love Yeti. Mine's in the car right now. Those are great. Tapestry, probably a little undervalued right now. The biggest and the baddest in the middle, as you know, who must have made this. Sharif made it. It's Li Auto. So he's very, very, yeah, he's very, very, yeah, it's fine. He's very, very excited about it. So that's going to be good. I hope that turns out well for him. Li Auto. And I can't
MGM as well. I mean, so, MGM tomorrow. Yeah. Well, MGM Aftermarket tonight is another interesting one. Because, look, anything travel and the casino names have been good volatile names. It's hilarious. The funny thing about Li Auto is that is the least traded of the 3 Chinese EV names on this show. Or not just on this show. I will make a bold prediction. I promise you that Li Auto is the least traded at Day Trade the World or any day trading firm of those 3. It's always going to be number 1, NIO. Yeah. And then XPeng, 100% XPeng, I feel like gives you the biggest moves that are very capturable. Capturable?
Yep.
On earnings. Li Auto doesn't have the same liquidity. I'm out. We didn't reload a 4th time on Rivian. Just got out at 17. And part of the reason for no reload is how many times it gets to that level and higher lows. The other one is just it's down so much. Profit taking is covering shorts that you would have had, right? So profit taking happening makes some sense to me, the $17 level. It was a nasty day for Rivian, but at least it's going to end up bouncing off some of these lows. So I want to respect that. Any news on Funko? I've seen Funko in the chat a couple of times here. You know what? I have a few of their, what's the name of the big head toy they make? I got a bunch of those at home. What are they called? Pops? Yeah, I got a few of those things at home. My daughter likes them. We have some sports ones, but Yeah, I don't know. Did they report? I don't know. It's not a stock fund code. Did they report
I
today?
don't know. Some people are talking about it.
But it's down 9%, and obviously there is some kind of a move happening on. I'm just checking it out on, looking up at my trade ideas. No, it reported here. It says it already reported on the 2nd, so it could just be it could be technical. That sucks if it's technical, because that is not a very. I don't know what's going on there on my weekly chart, but not a very good move on the daily where you rejected a breakout. Yeah, that sucks. You rejected a 9 breakout, and you could just be reject 9 breakout, fail 8, fail the 50 period. That's nasty if it's just a technical slide. But that looks like it could be it. There, you failed 9 already, then it failed 8 today, and it's just falling potentially down into some support at 7 maybe, which is where we're at. So unless there's any additional news, that just looks like a failed breakout on the daily chart for Funko there. Cool toys though.
Yeah, we have so many toys. We're trying to get rid of some. So, all right.
I'd say we'd take some, but we got the same problem.
Yeah, no, we have way too many. Like those LOL dolls.
You know what, though?
Honestly, I think we have 70 of them.
I was actually going
Not
to tell
even
you,
lying.
the crazy thing about it is we have too many of these Squishmallows. But
Yeah.
she
I
likes
have more than you.
I know you do, but like she still wants more. It's stupid. Like it's
Yeah.
How
My
many?
daughter's getting one for Christmas. I already know what it is.
Look at how many Squishmallows can you even have in your room? Like they're not small. They're just big ass pillows. Like they're really comfortable. Like that's a Squishmallow. You guys get it, but yeah. Anyways, we got too many of those. But if you happen to be throwing them away, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not throwing those away. We've got so many other things, it's ridiculous. But yeah, we have a lot of Squishmallows, man. All right. So as you can see, this is why I'm talking about like not putting on, you know, any big kind of shares or anything like that, because look, like this is a perfect example. Like Uber's right back to where we were short or where we were long, right? And we've already got out of it. So, you know, it's just like driving you mad in the last sort of half of the day here, especially. And look again, man, looks like hopefully we can at least, you know, we'll be positive on trading, and hopefully we can get positive here on the NASDAQ, as there we go. Hopefully some of you guys bet with me there right now as getting green. So now it's turned over. So right there, 52% now to the upside, as of course many people don't want to decide. They're
People wait until it goes green.
Waiting, and you know.
Should probably close the poll at some point, but.
Yeah. So there it is right there. So if you're with me, hopefully you got long somewhere. But we're just covering now everything that we have. So, you know, Intel, we just took another 95 fill there. Palantir, should have took that 40 long. I was not impressed with the market, so I was like, whatever, I'm not doing anything. And then Upstart's not doing anything either. It's Tesla. I think if you want to do anything, there's a call at least, right? There's a call. We don't have it on. So to me, when you make calls and you don't have the trade on, it's nice to talk about it and everything. But at the end of the day, I don't have this, but I was like, maybe Tesla. Remember, I was like, maybe. And that was also true for Netflix. This one we probably should have had. There goes Tesla breaking through 222. Literally a carbon copy, almost exactly, of the day and time that happened yesterday when this broke. I could probably, well, I don't know, my chart's going to be a mess because I've already cleaned up some wicks on this, but we were short Tesla until we were not. They're at 221, so that trade looking pretty good, breaking through 222 to the upside. Only a couple minutes until these guys show up, and these are the imbalances, right? So right now you have Coke buy, some of these buys. These are all what the broker on the floor of the NYSE. When 350 hits, they'll all become public, and then you'll just see the NYSE and the NASDAQ, and there'll be no more broker that's going to be relevant. So I'm going to get rid of those, and in 2 minutes, it's going to be action time, as you're going to see some of these names start to move around more than they are right now. So let's wait for that. That's why we're starting to clear out. Well, here we go. I'm going to put another bid on Intel right now. Get a 92. It's pretty low. So this is a good little short for us here on Intel. Again, risking 2 or 3 cents to make 20. So far, so good here. Let's wait to see what happens into this close. A minute and a half, guys.
Yeah, not much till we get the imbalances. So I'm again tightening up my stop because it's now 350. So show me a lower high wick on our re-entry on Uber. So instead of risking about 12 cents, 12 cents, we're going to risk actually 5 cents on the trade. So again, there's less time for it to move. If the imbalances are coming, that's just an adjustment that I'm going to make 10 times out of 10. I thought Darwin just mentioned something on Funko there, but yeah, Darwin has a comment. Whoever was asking about Funko, Darwin's got a good comment in there. I don't have to actually read it out to you guys. I am no longer, I think this is obvious, but I will not be taking the breakout on Lucid. A, it never did it. B, there's only 1 minute till imbalances come. So even if it takes out this consolidation, what are you gonna do? Like I'm just gonna get on. This is stupid. I'm just like it's ridiculous.
I know there's not that much time.
It probably. I don't think I take this, but this is ridiculous. If it breaks, it's probably good in either direction. I just don't want to be involved in this. I cannot believe that Lucid did absolutely nothing all day today. This is very. I feel as if like I came in here today really thinking Rivian, Lucid, and Fisker were going to be three names that would just be all day long trades. And Rivian was, although it was frustrating for most of the day, but Fisker was, I don't understand what's going on with that stock and why with a 42% short float it's not moving. Amazon with a big move to the upside there. I didn't see it on the early look for the imbalances. We'll get those in about 3 seconds. The actual imbalances when they come out. Maybe some things get stopped out in that moment. Nothing, no stops just hit for me, but Coke, that's an early look. Coke is 1.5 to buy at open. That's a $2 stock, so it doesn't really matter. Cisco to sell, 1 million to sell on Cisco. Google, 1.1 million to buy on Alphabet. Yeah. Lucid, I just saw for $1 million to buy. It's probably more reason, whatever. I'll just punch out of that.
I'm getting out of
What's
everything
the difference?
the same way.
You know what? I just saw the buy imbalance and I just said, let's go long Lucid on that break. But it's a 1 million buy, whatever. If it breaks down, I can just get out for the 1 cent. But it's a buy and balance of 1 million off that consolidation. Amazon, 1 million to buy as well. Apple, 9 million to buy. 1.6 billion to buy. Ooh. As you just saw, all those big cap tech names the other way. So Amazon had already made a move. Now it's just moving a little bit more. This will be hilarious because I see the million buy in Lucid. I'm like, yeah, it's going to go. It's literally doing nothing. So the spread will get paid on Lucid. I promise you that. Uber, yeah, this didn't do anything. I didn't see it on the imbalances. It just flat out did not move whatsoever. So I'm just going to take some out flat. If it makes a push to the downside, then it's not going to have to move very much to get me to cover it. I'm just going to get some in front of the 50. Again, just don't think there's enough time for it to make a big move. And we just went 1.6 billion to the buy side.
Oh, man.
Right? So if it's buy side, I'll take whatever I can get out of the short.
All right, yeah, same thing, man. We're just we got out of everything right now. So we got out of Palantir. We pretty much out of everything. So let's just wait to see where we go now on all of this. So Intel, good outs at the bottom. Palantir, we got 48. Okay, it's at 49, so not much happening there either. And then after that, Intel, what was the other one? Upstart, I just punched out immediately at 40 as soon as those imbalances came out. Again, didn't really see much flying through there. So we will wait and try to be as patient as we can, but at the end of the day, the market is what it is, and we're gonna just take some. No real. Let me just check back on Uber. What did that do? So nothing again. So I guess I was going to say we'll have to take an L on Uber, but we're not in it anymore. So we're going to have to wait to see again. Uber was a good trade today into earnings. Day 2 play for earnings for Uber. Nice little fall back in. We did hit that early right there. Nice upside moves, and we haven't really been doing much here in the afternoon. Micron, nice move back up. We're out of that, so that appears to be a decent cover, needless to say, at the end of that trade. So that's so far so good. And then let's check out what a firm's doing.
No
AFRM. And the NASDAQ's going to be positive, possibly, right there.
I think you can, okay, I shouldn't say that. I think you can now say it. It looks strong enough. It's a buy and balance of 1.6 at the end of the day after we just turned green. So I'm thinking it ends up green.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to end up green there, and that's, we've made that call, so hopefully it'll go. I don't know. We'll see. Who cares? Just for fun. And then Google was a big imbalance you mentioned. That's a nice little move to the upside there as well. So we'll look to see about Google bouncing off 130, 150 potentially there tomorrow. So, yeah, so far so good. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and make sure you do this.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Today, and make sure you do it today, because if you don't do it today, you may forget tomorrow.
And I love this comment. Shout out to you, Elon, in the chat again. Hi, Neil and Sean. Let's catch up with Rivian tomorrow again. Good luck. Yeah, you can bet we will. You know, Rivian was a tricky stock today. Clearly, it's an easier path if you were short the entire day. There's no question about that. But that doesn't mean you don't trade it tomorrow. Of course, Rivian's going to be in play tomorrow. The EVs are going to be in play today and tomorrow, whether it's earnings or not. Day 2, day 3 types of plays. We'll be back for them. That's what trading's about. It's like a closer in baseball. You have to have a short memory, but you also have to remember the game plan. Like Mariano Rivera, he gives up a game-winning home run. He's going to come back the next day still breaking your bat with a cutter, even if he gets beat the day before. So short memory on what went bad, and then just go back to what your bread and butter is the next day. Although, I mean, if what you do every single day loses, like the Toronto Blue Jays offense, maybe you want to make some adjustments. Like, just...
They got Don Mattingly now.
Well, I mean, what you could do when every single person on your team has a disappointing year hitting, what you could do is retain the hitting coach. I think that's always a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
to have no change whatsoever.
Focus on what's been working.
Exactly. Focus on what's working, Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not bitter at all about the fact, and again, I don't know what's going on the inside of the court. I'm just bitter. I am bitter. I'm just sitting here talking about, like, I'm not bitter over the fact they didn't make some changes, but that's my team. So last trade, this is stupid. I'm just going to, and I've now paid the spread on the 1 cent spread on Lucid twice, but I'm going to get on the bid here for Uber for the last of it. I think the 50 fail break, if it does continue at least for a day or two, I'm thinking the short off that fail 50. This is Lucid. So like the next time this happens, just remember what I try to say, which is only trade these if they break out. So don't actually do that. Don't anticipate and hit 95 and then have to punch out at 94. Actually see it break 95 and then just get 95 half or 96. Otherwise, this is what happens. You just pay fees and the spread, which is just stupid. You want the breakout of that level, which never happened. The ridiculous barcode that's, I can't explain it. I don't really know why that happened, but it just did. I'm just going to punch out a bit of a bottom here at 49.5 on Uber. So that gave up VWAP. Again, all roads lead back to VWAP. Although, apparently this was also a little bit of the Brecher
ledge.
The Brecher ledge here. So not a bad Brecher ledge.
That's right.
Although the example that you showed looked like it was on a daily chart.
Yes.
So my guess is he's looking for swing setups on a daily and not 15-minute trades as a day trader. Although you can use setups for just about every single time frame. So I don't want to write those off. I think you can. You can always find something that works on multiple time frames. Who's blame guy Randy in the chat? That was for no blame Randy. Randy, he does everything. He works in IT here on the floor, helps us with the show, gives knowledge on the EV space. He brings coffee every now and then because he's just that nice of a guy. Every day, every single day. But he's been working here forever, like longer than I have with the company. And great dude. But when he came on today, unlike Frank Caberna, who when he comes on the show, the market goes up, the market kind of turned around a little bit. Yeah. So I just said if we end up red, just blame Randy. So that's who Randy is. It's not his fault whatsoever. That's just me having fun.
Yep. Okay, so we're getting ready. I mean, we're just going to get out of Intel, one last position, then we're going to go over and hop over to the big desk. So, again, thank you so much for watching the show here today. There's the cover on Intel. So spin that for that last trade, at least on INTC, and we'll just see where we go now. So that was a good fill at the end of the day. And actually, I did not even update the board for today. So I'm going to pass it over to you and then get this going. But
yeah, you got to do that.
Recap in just a couple seconds.
Yes, sir, and a lot to go over. I mean, if you thought there were a bunch of earnings last week, and we're getting to the end of earnings season, but it doesn't mean that there isn't still a lot of activity. I'm going to shout out to what might be one of the bigger movers. Okay, let's throw this out there. Look, I thought that Fisker was going to be a big mover today. I was wrong about that. I am fairly certain that I will not be wrong and that a firm should be somewhere around double-digit moves tomorrow. I haven't looked to see what the implied move is, and yes, I did get shaken out of my lunch money long on firm in spectacular fashion, bottom wick, but I think it reversed into a breakout long. I was not thinking short in this name because of that this afternoon. It almost got green, and it's a big-time rally off the 16 bottom. I still like the 23 level and the 25 level. If it can't punch through those, we'll be trading some Affirm tomorrow, almost certainly on those earnings. I think we see some serious volatility with this. And then you got to throw in all the, sort of all the names that go with it in that space. Like if Upstart's going to have a move today and Affirm's going to have some sympathy, I think Upstart's going to be a good mover again tomorrow. So let's have an eye on those. I think you don't sleep on Uber. I don't think you get away from the Teslas and the Metas and the Nvidias and the Apples of the world. You got to just pick your poison. Darwin, Thank you for that. 14.6% is the expected move on a firm. I'm not 100% sure that you're going to get that kind of a move, but I'd be surprised if you don't see double digits. As far as Meta goes, I feel like it's running into some resistance, but it's got some room to get higher. I just worry about this lower high that it's failing in the low 20s. So until it punches through the low 20s, I think I might be looking at a short for this one tomorrow. But less than 1 minute to go in here. There wasn't much move. I don't know what the implied move on AMC is, Jameson. They report after the bell, so Sean will be all over that one for you live. I think you usually get AMC relatively early enough, so I think you should be okay in terms of seeing the move. I do know that it had a, not a horrible day. Bouncing off at $10 is the big one. If it breaks 10, support at 9. If it breaks 9, support at 7. I think it's pretty easy for that stock tomorrow. And if it starts squeezing, don't fight it too hard, but there's usually a short there somewhere. So get the camera away from this face. Put it on the green screen because the countdown is on. It is hump day. It is big earnings. Adara's on the bell. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. And there you go. The market is closed. We can make it official because I see 0.06% to the upside. So that means 5 seconds ago, it was to the upside. Doesn't matter what it does now. If you voted with the 55%, streak continued. The NASDAQ closed higher as far as I'm concerned. Though, of course, that's the E-mini contract. Technically, it could be something different. But let's go on over. Gotta give a shout out to Fabian and Ramin every single day. We continuously have had some issues with the audio. These guys keep fixing, which is amazing. Appreciate that so much. Gotta give a shout out to Adara on the midday, kicking butt. Obi as well. Obi and I have something for you guys planned. I think we're going to be starting it next week. A little bit of a change to lunch money. I'm spoiling it. Obi's going to be joining me. We're hashing out the format and the plans, but Obi's going to start joining me sometime next week, and we're going to change the format up a little bit. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. As always, Brendan, thank you for giving that news all day long, keeping everybody updated. And Randy, shout out to Randy for dropping some knowledge when it comes to EVs. You know what you got to do right now. That's get away from me. You know who I am. Let's get on over to the desk. It's a market recap. You have a host of earnings, including AMC after the bell for all you apes out there. Let's go to the desk.
Happy working. Hello, welcome to the market recap. I'm Sean Katina, and from the trading desk over to the news desk. Why not? We'll show some diversification right now. Same thing as you.